Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 51 of Big Brother 23's overnight feed recaps, and welcome to Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. All right, well, we had our live episode last night. As expected, we lost Derek X. He will be juror number 2, heading over to visit with Brittany this morning, I suppose. But we lose Derek X on a 5-2 vote. He got a vote from Hannah. He also got a bit of a sympathy vote from Kylan, but it wasn't enough to make a difference. This is the third week in a row that Tiffany had said she was going to flip the house, and it just didn't quite work out. So there you have it. So we have no big surprises in terms of who went home, but we did also have an HOH competition, and it did indeed have to do with a memory competition related to the videos that all the house guests had been watching from the day before. Turns out that I think they called it BB NFTs and the new big trend online and all of that. And so we did have the HOH competition. Came down to Hannah and Alyssa and Tiffany for the final 3. But the winner of the HOH is Tiffany. Tiffany finally wins her HOH. She wins it fair and square. She didn't have to have Kylan or anyone else throwing it to her, which should make it a whole lot more special for her. I'm happy for Tiffany. That she finally gets this HOH that she was wanting so bad. I didn't realize, just a little aside, Tiffany is now the oldest player to win an HOH in Big Brother since I won it back in my season. So just thought I'd throw that in there. All right, so now Tiffany's the HOH. The question is, what is she going to do with that power? Well, we kind of suspect, right? We'll talk about it. But we also got a little bit of a surprise from Julie during the live episode. She said that every house guest, as you leave the HOH backyard, or as you leave the backyard, grab a random envelope, that each envelope is going to contain between 50 and 100 Big Brother bucks. So it's just a way to potentially allow a few more people to play in this final high roller competition, the Coin of Destiny this week. Add a little randomness to the equation, which Big D, I guess I need to start just calling him Derek at some point. But so Big D is excited about that because he has the money to play, but he's really worried about everything looking too transparent. Everything is supposed to be anonymous, but if he's the only one playing or one of very few, it'll make it very much not anonymous. Now, I don't know if it's going to make a difference. How much difference will there be between Big D's choices and Tiffany's? We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But first of all, in terms of who could be playing in this high roller competition today, well, we definitely know that Derek has enough coins or enough bucks to play in the Coin of Destiny. Hannah should get to play. In fact, I think it's pretty much guaranteed that she'll get to play with the combination of the random bucks that she'll get from the backyard. Plus, even if I think she gets 50, it may take 75. I don't remember, but I think Hannah pretty much is guaranteed to get to play as well with Derek X. Finally, we've got Claire probably will have enough bucks to play. Now, that could be a little bit of a wrinkle if Claire wins. Not huge, but Claire probably get to win. Azza, Tiffany, Kylan, Sarah Beth, I think all of them have the ability to play if they get $100 from the random pick in the backyard, plus they get $100 from America's voting. Probably long shots, probably not going to get to play. So probably we're looking at Big D, at Hannah, and at maybe Claire getting to play in the Coin of Destiny. We'll see if that affects Tiffany's. Now, Tiffany has already, as I said, she already pretty much has determined her nominees, Kylan and Sarah Beth, with Sarah Beth as the target. One of the rules of Big Brother, as an HOH, you can't tell someone for 100% that you're putting them on the block. You can't tell anyone 100% this person is going up. Tiffany pretty much pushes it up as close as she can to saying that without 100% officially saying that. So, yeah, Kylan and Sarah Beth, it's going to be a difficult week for them. In terms of the Coin of the Destiny players, I don't really see anyone who might change these initial nominations if they were to win the power, kind of take the power away from Tiffany. And we don't know exactly how that power exchange may work, but I don't really see anyone who's eligible to play in Coin of Destiny that they would change this initial Kylan and Sarah Beth nomination to start with. But what if Sarah Beth was to win veto and she took herself off? Now, at that point, Tiffany as HOH would, I think, almost certainly replace Sarah Beth with Alyssa. But if Derek F, if Big D was to win the Coin of Destiny, he may not replace Sarah Beth nomination with Alyssa. He may put Claire up instead. You could have some friction between Big D and Tiffany. Again, not on the initial nomination as much as a veto replacement. And then we could see some fireworks if Big D wins his power, if he puts Claire up as a replacement for Sarah Beth. Tiffany's not going to like that. And I'm sure she'll let Big D know just how she feels about it as well, right? So that may be kind of fun to see. But you got to win it first. And my understanding, this Coin of Destiny, if you've got the money to play, it involves a coin flip. 50-50, whether you get to take over the HOH powers or not. Now, I don't know how that works if more than one person is playing in the Coin of Destiny. We're going to find out. We'll find out Sunday, I believe. So we've got that. All right. Sarah Beth is talking to Xavier and saying that Derek X had told the entire house other than that. She's saying Derek X told me that the entire house other than Xavier and Alyssa was going to be coming after you and me, Kyland. And that she's pretty sure that she's going to be on the block as a result of it. Well, Derek X tried to tell you now, didn't he, Sarah Beth? But yeah, she's pretty sure she's going to be on the block. But Sarah Beth is also thinking that they'll send her home over Kyland, since she has Alyssa and Kyland as support while he has no one at all. Well, that's not exactly why you're going to be the likely target, Sarah Beth. Well, let's talk about the Cookout Alliance if you have a few minutes. But yeah, she's thinking she's going home. She just doesn't understand quite why the background workings of why she's going to be the key target heading out the door. Sarah Beth is also telling Kyland that Tiffany's main target again is going to be her, because she feels like Tiffany is going to target her because Tiffany is feeling vulnerable, that she wants Kyland all to herself. Again, let me introduce you to the Cookout Alliance, Sarah Beth. Yeah, it's there's a lot of reasons that Sarah Beth is Tiffany's primary target this week, and has been for many weeks. But part of it does have to do, I think, with her wanting to break Kyland and Sarah Beth up a little bit. So yeah, she may have some. She may be getting a little bit close to some of the motivation. All right, Sarah Beth wants to tell, and later she does tell Tiffany that she kept Tiffany and Claire safe during Sarah Beth's HOH. She's going to say, look, I didn't put either of y'all on the block. That means something, right? Well, Kyland points out that, yeah, but she did put up two of Tiffany's closest allies. So I don't know how much weight that's going to carry Sarah Beth. And Sarah Beth is again saying that Alyssa and Xavier and Derek X were all after Tiffany. They all wanted her gone. They all want her gone. And therefore, why would she go after Sarah Beth instead of Alyssa and Xavier? She has said before that's going to be her argument. It's not going to carry any water. Truly not. We do have one-on-one starting. Tiffany, unlike Kylan, who likes to stay up till 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning with extended one-on-one meetings, Tiffany had a pretty smart little idea. She says, look, while we're sitting here waiting for me to get my HOH room, let's go ahead and do one-on-ones now. I'll keep it to 15 or 20 minutes. We've got nominations early in the morning. Let's talk now. Let's not stay up all night long. Good job, Tiffany. I think that's a good idea. Certainly in a one-on-one with Tiffany, a little bit shorter than a one-on-one with Kylan. So the one-on-ones have started. Tiffany is talking to Xavier. She's telling Xavier that, look, I've got a right to put up. I'm justified to put up Sarah Beth, since Sarah Beth put up Claire and Derek X. And so it only makes sense that I would go back after her. Well, Tiffany was targeting Sarah Beth way before that particular little nomination of Claire and Derek X happened. But it does give Tiffany a reason that she can talk out loud to Sarah Beth and to Claire about why she wants to go after those two without revealing the Cookout Alliance. So it is something that she can use as justification, even though she's been targeting Sarah Beth since way before that. Sarah Beth, during her one-on-one with Tiffany, is saying, look, I didn't have any control over my HOH. She's trying to distance herself from Derek X's eviction. And yes, she let Kylan get way too involved with her HOH. But at the end of the day, She was HOH. She has to take responsibility, good or bad, for the way things went. But she's trying to say, I didn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, Tiffany. Don't hold this against me. Yeah, it's not gonna fly. Tiffany is asking Sarah Beth about how many Big Brother bucks, BB bucks, she has. 50, I think. And Sarah Beth is saying that if she and Kyland aren't in power, that or aren't on the block, she won't use the high roller power. She's saying, Tiffany, as long as I'm not on the block with Kyland, you don't have to worry about how many Big Brother bucks I have, because I won't play. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do. Tiffany is mentioning to Sarah Beth, and I heard this argument earlier as well yesterday or day before. Tiffany is saying, look, the house has two strong duos, Xavier and Alyssa, and Sarah Beth, you and Kyland are the other strong duo. And so she's kind of pointing out that Xavier's already going to be on the block this week. And with the two strong duos, why not put up the other one as well? Again, she's trying to come up with reasons that don't expose the Cookout Alliance. Tiffany is also mentioning Sarah Beth, saying, look, I don't want to lose girls. I would rather send the guys out the door, but none of the women are willing to give up their strong guys, their duos, and I just may not have a chance, Sarah Beth. Tiffany is saying that if she nominates them, Kyland and Sarah Beth, they can play for veto. She's not going to try to backdoor them or anything else. She says, look, if it happens, I'm going to nominate you as opposed to backdoor you. You get your chance to play for veto. Whatever happens, happens. And Sarah Beth says, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. I guess that is important. Tiffany is also saying that Sarah Beth is saying she wants to work with her and Claire. But Tiffany's saying, hey, Sarah Beth, you're saying that you want to work with Claire and I get that, but you're also saying it if you were to win the Coin of Destiny high roller comp, that you use it to protect Kyland, and it just seems that you're a little bit tighter with Kyland than you are with the two of us. Yeah, bingo. There you got it. Sarah Beth will do what she needs to do to protect Kyland much more than you, Tiffany. You got it. You've got it figured out. Yeah, Tiffany's not buying the arguments that Sarah Beth is throwing out there. All right, what else we've got going? Tiffany's talking to Hannah in her one-on-one, and they're pretty. First of all, there's not a lot of strategy. There's some strategy talk, but Hannah's very upset. She feels like she really betrayed Derek X by letting him get cut. Well, I actually think Hannah did what she could to try to protect him while also preserving her bigger alliance. There's no guilt. There should be no guilt from Hannah's standpoint. It's a game, and she tried to protect her side guy, and it just didn't work out. But she's very upset about it. But Tiffany is talking, so we spent a lot of time talking about that. But Tiffany also talking just about what other people said on their one-on-ones. She's telling Hannah that, look, Sarah Beth threw everyone under the bus. And she also is telling me that she didn't know that I and Derek X were tied, or else she wouldn't have gone after Derek X, that she just didn't understand our relationship. It had nothing to do with me. And but yeah, she's saying Sarah Beth threw y'all all under the bus. You don't think that she's trying to protect y'all whatsoever. Tiffany, as the crying happens, Hannah's upset about the decisions that were made. Tiffany is saying, look, this isn't a game that any of us necessarily would want to play on our own. But from the day we were chosen to make history, and we've got a greater thing that we're working for, Hannah, and you did what you had to do. And it is what it is, and we're all going to have to do it at some point in time. You lost your guy. We're all going to lose our people as we advance to the end of the game. All right, we've got Xavier and Alyssa talking. Xavier's telling Alyssa that Tiffany doesn't seem to be looking in their direction for the nominations. Well, you're right. Unless something happens with the veto competition, Tiffany is zoomed in, laser focused on Sarah Beth. So Alyssa, you should be safe this week as long as nothing crazy happens with that Coin of Destiny or with the vetoes themselves. Alyssa is also talking responding back to Xavier, talking about her goodbye message to Derek X. Man, it was brutal. Alyssa basically says, I know you're trying to play the game, but your game is sloppy. Your game is dishonest. And something about, so here's your karma payback or whatever. And at the end, she tries to finish up and say, we'll go party when we get here. But now Alyssa's goodbye message to Derek X is very brutal. Not that it matters, probably from Alyssa's standpoint, but if you're going to make it to the final two, jury management is part of the strategy and part of the game you have to be playing. I'm not sure after listening to her describe her goodbye message to Derek X that it's going to really incline Derek X to vote for two if she makes it to the final two seat, which is probably a scenario we don't have to spend a lot of time talking about. All right, we've got Sarah Beth suggesting that Derek X should feel a lot better if the person who sent him out the door ends up winning the entire competition. So she's saying, yeah, he ought to feel good. If I win it, he ought to be cheering for me to win it. Take it from someone who was voted out by the eventual winner of a Big Brother season. It doesn't make you feel better. In fact, it makes you feel a little bit worse that the person that booted you ends up being happy and joyful at the end of the whole thing. You'd rather see them walk out right behind you, so you can say, see, told you. But now Sarah Beth saying, yeah, he'll feel a lot better if I win the whole thing. No, he won't, Sarah Beth. He's going to be happy when he sees you walking in the jury house just a week later behind him, joining Brittany and Derek X as the trio in the jury house. All right, Tiffany eventually gets her HOH room. We won't talk a lot about it. She got a letter from her grandmother that raised her, and also her son, who just started high school, I think had something to do with the letter as well. And she had some pictures of them. She got Beyonce's Lemonade album, which Big D is very excited about. He's forget HOH, forget veto competitions, high rollers, nothing. He's just excited to listen to some Beyonce up in the HOH room, and he does that later in the evening. But she does get her HOH room, and everyone's excited, and you know the way it always works. Big D is talking to Xavier and Alyssa. He is saying that he's worried that Claire could win the Coin of Destiny and put up Big D along with maybe Kyland or Xavier. No, that's not going to happen. But Alyssa is correctly stating that, look, Claire's not going to change Tiffany's picks. Tiffany's not putting you three guys up. And Claire's not going to, even if she wins, she's not going to come along and change it, Big D. You should be good. Big D just worries. He's just that kind of person. He's going to worry every week about the possibility of going on the block. And he has been a pawn a few weeks, so I guess it's justifiable, but he's good this week. Tiffany is telling Xavier and Alyssa that Sarah Beth just threw both of them under the bus by saying that Xavier and Alyssa are going after Tiffany. They've been going after Tiffany. I guess Sarah Beth's plan to get Tiffany to go after the two of them by making that accusation isn't quite as easy as Sarah Beth thought it was going to be. Yeah, no, Tiffany's not buying it. Tiffany is telling Kyland that she hopes Xavier wins veto and takes himself off the block. Being the third nominee, if he wins veto and pulls himself off, there probably will not be a replacement nominee. That happened in my season. Christy got put up as a third nominee because of America's field trip. Tommy won veto, pulled her off. He didn't have to rename someone else to take her place. He just had the other two, Kat and I, who were on the block. I think the same thing will be here. If he wins veto, he pulls himself off, and you'll still have Kylan and Sarah Beth on the block, and that'll be it. But Tiffany does say she's going to act like Kylan is the target. She's saying, look, make you seem like the target if you were to go up. Make you seem like the target as opposed to Sarah Beth. Tiffany is also telling Kylan that Sarah Beth may have him fooled, but not her. She knows where it's at. She's telling Kylan, saying, do not help Sarah Beth argue with me. She's got a mouthpiece. Don't be telling her how to argue back with me. Just don't do it, Kylan. Kylan is questioning her, saying, look, if I win veto, why can't we put up Alyssa instead of Sarah Beth? Well, that's not what Tiffany wants. Tiffany will be hot and bothered if that's the case. But Tiffany says, no, look, I want Alyssa still in the game in order for her then to be able to come after Claire. And I would rather have her still in the game. So no, you can't replace Sarah Beth with Alyssa during my HOH reign. Well, if Kylan wins veto, she doesn't have a lot of say in the matter, and I could see him doing that, but that is going to create a huge division in the Cookout Alliance. We'll see if that becomes a reality or not. Tiffany is arguing that Kylan should throw the veto to her. She says, you already threw one to Alyssa. Now you need to throw this veto to me. Well, first of all, stop asking people to throw competitions to you. It just irritates me. Second thing, when he threw the veto competition to Alyssa, there was a reason for it. He knew that if he won the veto, Claire would also win a veto because of the high roller competition that week, and that wouldn't benefit a whole lot of people's games. So he threw it for a valid reason. That reason isn't going to exist, the veto competition this week, but doesn't mean Tiffany isn't still asking for it. In fact, later she tells Hannah, she says, I told him he better throw this veto competition to me. Hey, you don't throw veto competitions to other people. All right, Tiffany is telling Kylan as well that he needs to play the coin of destiny if he ends up with enough money. And if he wins, he needs to keep the nominations the same. Yeah, right. If Kylan and Sarah Beth are on the block, if Kylan then wins coin of destiny and he doesn't change those nominations, well, we're going to have a whole nother discussion about Kylan as a Big Brother player. But Tiffany expects it, or at least she's telling him she expects it, which kind of amazes me. All right, Kylan is talking to the cameras a little bit later. He's saying, look, I hope America doesn't hate me for sending Derek X home. I thought it was Sarah Beth's HOH, Kylan. No, you didn't do it. Sarah Beth sent Kylan home, or sent Derek X home. But he's saying, don't hate me because I sent Derek X home. Well, yeah, we kind of know it was your HOH in a lot of ways, right? In fact, at one point, we've got Sarah Beth talking to the camera. I think talking to the cameras, saying, look, America, look, all my fans and friends and all that. Don't vote for me in this America's Bucks. Vote for Kylan instead. Send the money to Kylan. Let him compete because he's the target this week. He's in trouble and everything else. So send the money to Kylan. And she's apologizing to Kylan, saying, yeah, I'm sorry I kept you from winning HOH because I gave you bad information. I gave you wrong information while we were studying. It caused you to lose. Sorry about that. Man, Kylan's got this. He's got Sarah Beth under control, right? He certainly has a lot of influence with her in a whole lot of ways. So, yeah, she's thinking that he's the target. Not really so much the case. In fact, with that in mind, just to finish this up, Kylan is really misleading Sarah Beth last night. He's suggesting to her that he is the target, not her, that he's the one that's most likely to go home. And he's saying, look, you talked to Tiffany. You told her about Alyssa and Xavier going after her, and you must have gotten to her because Tiffany is really up there thinking about what you said and really a little nervous now after what you've said. I think it had an impact, Sarah Beth, and there's a good chance maybe it could be Alyssa instead of you up there. It's me. I'm the target, but Alyssa could be up there instead of you. Well, no, none of that's true, and Kylan knows it's not true. He's just trying to make Sarah Beth feel a little bit better until reality hits here in the next day or two. So there you have it, guys. The house guests are all in bed by 3:30 or so in the morning. We're going to have the wild card competition today. A few people compete, maybe a few extras, depending on what happens with those random envelopes in America's Vote. But we'll have that. And then we may start hearing a little bit more about how this coin of destiny, this phantom invisible HOH may or may not work. So we'll have more details in the morning. So until then, guys, it's Friday. Enjoy your Friday. Get ready for the weekend. I will be back tomorrow morning, give you all the scoop of what happened overnight once we know what's happened with Coin of Destiny. Y'all have a great one, guys. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.